Hello, welcome to Scott's Odyssey. Here we are at another Pennsylvania leftover from the iron furnace days. In 1868, Osgood M. Whipple purchased this tract of land and built a dam in order to create the hydropower for a sawmill. Welcome to Whipple, what? Let's find out what's going on here. See you in a minute. Welcome back. If you've watched my videos before, thank you for your patronage and making this channel possible. I hope you enjoy this adventure into entry-level mudlarking. If you're new to Scott's Odyssey, welcome aboard. And please take a moment to click subscribe for more of this journey through ODDySEEy, stories of who we once were. All right, we have a little problem. This adventure into the history of Whipple Dam State Park has been side-railed, but in a good way. After more than 35 years of funding issues, this former lake turned swamp has finally received its new lease on life and is being dredged as soon as they clear the 35-year-old trees that grew in the sediment basins of stone that they built. Regardless of that, and before we get into mudlarking, let me fill you in on where we are. On July 6, 1754, this area of Pennsylvania was purchased from the Iroquois Confederation by the proprietary government of Pennsylvania, just 2 months before all the friendship treaties fell apart, leading up to the 7 Years' War, also known as the French and Indian War. This particular site was one of the many shady land purchases settled on the Pennsylvania frontier. In 1868, Osgood M. Whipple purchased a tract of land to use for lumbering and help build the iron furnace industry in this area. Whipple had constructed a dam downstream from here along the Laurel Run Creek in order to power a sawmill. This area was referred to as Whipple's Dam, even after Osgood left the lumber business in 1897. In 1927, the Pennsylvania Department of Forest and Waters surveyed this area in order to establish a recreation site. During 1928, after seeing how deteriorated the old log crib dam was, they came upstream and built a new dam in a much better location for recreation. Whipple Lake became listed as a state forest public camp for Boy Scouts, Campfire Girls, and Girl Scouts with full camps on the north side of the lake. Between 1933 and 1941, the Civilian Conservation Corps had a camp just east of this location called Owl's Gap Camp, S60 PA. In 1935, the CCC rebuilt the dam, constructed a bridge, and built multiple pavilions, roads, restrooms, and even a beach. The camps closed during 1941 due to World War II. Let me know in the comments below if you have stories regarding Whipple's Dam. Send me your historic pictures on my Facebook page or over emails. Tell me your fun stories and memories that you have of this great state park. My research is limited only by the information that people don't share openly. Help me break that barrier and let's share the history and the culture of who we once were. In the early 1980s, the condition of Lake Whipple was in question due to the significant amount of silt that had been collecting at an exponential rate. This prompted a project to dredge the lake, and by the mid-1980s, there were huge sediment basins created in order to put floating vacuum dredges onto the lake that would vacuum the silt to the top of a small ridge and deposit it into these basins at the bottom. From what I was told, the company that was going to complete the task went bankrupt, and a lot of other financial issues came up about the dredging, and some animal that was now living here came into question regarding habitat. When I was a child in the 80s, the lake was still a lot of fun, and you could get around 70% of this lake while in a canoe without an issue. By 2010, the lake was essentially impassable, even on canoe or kayak, with the exception of about less than 10% of the 22 acres. And here we are in 2020, getting ready to do a mudlarking expedition right before the rebirth of this beautiful lake and this area. We're going mudlarking.
We're gonna go what?
Mudlarking.
And what is mudlarking?
Mudlarking. Mudlarking. That's when you go into the mud and look for stuff. Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. All right, let's see what we can't get into here. You know, we're walking along a part of the dam where it's usually underneath by a lot and has been for 35 plus years. Lots of breakage on the dam. Looks like ice damage. Going to try and do the easier parts before getting into the mud, which we could get in trouble for. There are signs saying, please don't go into the mud basin, but we'll see what happens. This is a little bit steep on these rocks. It's really neat. At one time, all of these rocks had a mortar in them. But let's go to the part where they let all the water out, which is usually totally and completely underwater. That's cool. This is all that's left of the lake. Oh, tunnel. Let's see how far down here we can get safely. All right, my boots still have grip. Isn't that pretty? Guess we need to see that from the other side. Here we go. Up, 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 up. All right, looks like in order to do it, they had to pull these wooden parts of the dam out. That's the actual dam. A little bit windy. And that got noisy really quick. That's some fast moving water, and a lot of it. This is an entire creek, the Laurel Run, being squeezed into this little channel here. It's kind of neat. I will do a follow-up video where you actually get to see what the lake looks like when it's full. I didn't think about that beforehand. You think I would have thought about that beforehand, because what's the point of showing you an empty lake if it wasn't full? But you don't think about that. It's been full for my entire life, and now it's empty. It's kind of neat. It is just really, really neat. Let's do some more walking around the lake, and we'll see what else we can find along the way. found Leslie. And she's sitting down. I'll catch up to her. We'll see what happens here. We're catching up to you.
I see that. I've got a windbreak. It's the dam.
Is that what it is? Not a leg break though, which is very easy to do on these stones. The ones that weren't underwater are better. The ones that were underwater are very sandy.
Yeah.
They got loose grit sticking to them, and I was slipping down it. Oh, somebody did concrete writing.
Yeah, back in 1986.
Let's take a look. Back in 1986. That's interesting.
I was not a part of that group.
Yeah, you were. You were one of them animals. All right, we got a big lake. Let's start dredging.
I'm just gonna record you as you tread.
All right, we're gonna do edge walking first. That might be best. Let's stop this for a minute. This is usually
Kind of like being at the beach.
yeah, Central Pennsylvania beach. They bring up sand with rocks in it. I was hoping with the cold temperatures that maybe it would have solidified a little bit, but that's not the way it is. We got the ice, but I'm not ready for a full-on mudlark. I didn't bring equipment for that. And this is not normal mud. This mud here, you go into this, you ain't getting out of it. You need someone to pull you out. It's that kind of a swamp. People leaving cell phone parts on the ground. Okay. Hey, I found a battery. I guess somebody's already done some mudlarking, and they found a cell phone that they destroyed. We'll see if we can't find the pieces. We'll see if we can't find the pieces. We'll find the. Oh, I found more. This was a. Not that's just a rubber case. Oh, I'll get that sun out of the way. Just a rubber case. But somebody obviously mudlarked a cell phone out of here, which I'm sure there's a good handful of them. Let's keep looking.
Wonder how far we can.
Got a tennis ball. Always good to have a tennis ball. Some poor puppy out there without his tennis ball. Okay, so hold on, wait. Oh, how far can we make it in the paddle boat? Yeah. I got to get the paddle boat in there. How far can we make it in the paddle boat? I think if you take it out, I keep going too high with this. Let me do a recenter. Hold on. All right, here's my thoughts. Get the paddle boat. I'll tie a rope to you.
To me.
And you just hump that out there like it's nothing. And we can just sit in that puddle right there. And we could paddle, but once we put our body weight in it, I think it's going to sink. So you're going to have to jump out and pull us back out.
No, honey, that's your job.
Historically,
repeatedly in this.
we've been stuck out here so many times.
Right here. We've done it twice, right out there.
So one of the things I found was this tennis ball. And if you can hear, there's there's only like a dog tooth hole in it, but something's in it. Gotta find out what's in the ball. So let's get to work. Alrighty. Note to self, sharpen knife. All right, I think that's good enough. Let me get this in the pocket. Let that breeze calm down a little bit. We ready for the big reveal? Mm-hmm. Here we go. Oh, we got this beautiful, beautiful hunk of ice that was inside the tennis ball.
Nice.
All right. Now my hands are cold. I'll put it back
Okay.
in there. Let's go find some more stuff.
Okay.
Alrighty. Hey, is it me or is that wind cold?
It is very cold.
I don't think it's that cold. It's supposed to be like 27 degrees. It's not that cold. 27. It's getting even colder as the day goes on. Let's see what happens. Anyway, back to the lake. Let's see. Mudlarking. All right, I think we're gonna have to do like surface mudlarking. Because we take a step or two and we kind of go really far. You sink really far, like knee deep.
If you look at some point in time, somebody was out here with their dog.
The dog didn't even go in very far. The dog was like, yeah, I ain't doing that.
So that must have been on those couple of days where it's really freezing cold out here.
Okay,
If you step now, you're going to get down 6 inches at least up there.
so let's see what else we can find. I know there's something here. There we go. Let's see. Come on, camera. Do you see it?
What'd you find?
Old spinner reel. Old spinner reel. Really old. Metal. That's a top pocket find. I don't know if you guys are fans of what is that show called? You're a fan of it. Yeah, The Curse of Oak Island. Not a promotional. But my wife likes to sit on the edge of her seat waiting to see if they ever find something. Spoiler alert, maybe they did. Let's see if we can find some more things. But for now, I'll put this in my top pocket. Another point of interest. That's part of the Pennsylvania snails. Escargot. All right, let's keep looking.
All right, I got a question.
What?
Take a look here.
Uh-oh.
Under the underbrush. You got
Yeah.
dips.
Oh, yeah, we
What
got
is
dip.
that?
We got dips.
Is that
Sorry,
from
she's
fish?
talking about dips. All right,
See that?
so we got a circle here, and we got a circle here. We got a whole series of divot circles,
They go all the way over here.
and they're in the bushes. These ones in the bushes. These ones in the bushes are not, oh, gosh, that got dark. These ones in the bushes are most likely created by the sunfish. If it's not the sunfish, then it's the rock bass. They go like this and they clear away a big spot. Based on what I'm seeing, I'm gonna say sunfish because the bass have a tendency to build up rocks as well, and then they hover around it in order to protect the eggs. So that's what we're looking at here.
Spawning.
Oh yeah,
Location.
we're in spawn.
Nice. That's pretty
Spawning area. We're walking through spawning area. Ew, something dirty about this. All right, let's get that centered. There we go. So over there you have a ledge. I used to fish off the top of that ledge. That was the deepest hole in the lake for the longest time. But when I was a kid, all of this was underwater, and if you see where the bushes are growing, and even at the far side of the lake, that was all underwater when I was a kid. It was like 5 or 6 feet of water. Now it's all islands. So interesting. For the purposes of trying to, for the purposes so that we don't bore you just walking through the mud the whole entire time, I'm going to turn the camera off and I'll turn it on when we find something or come across something, and then I'll turn it back on before we actually approach it. That way you too can see whatever it is that we find. Now, where we're walking went from mud to sort of a frozen tundra.
Yeah.
And
Frozen's good.
I came across this interesting little fellow here. And just to give you an idea, I'm sinking, oh crud. I'm sinking about a foot. Let's see, must get to this. Oh. Alrighty, let's try that again. Let's try that again. I'm having a major issue here. Oh, where I want to get this guy. Where is he? Get him out. Okay, I got it. I got it.
Somebody else lost
What?
it, too.
So apparently somebody came in here and the camera's not seeing it. Hold on. All right, somebody else came out here and they lost their boot. Now here's the cool thing about this particular boot. This particular boot, I don't know if you can see the name here. This particular boot is a Merrill, which is what that's a log. What the heck? Can't even find me. Which is what I happen to wear. We got Merrill. So this guy's same size as mine. I wonder if that's my boot. What are the chances? What are the chances that that's my boot? I don't know. What do you think? There's probably a chance. Let's see what else we can find. Another view of the lake. This used to all be underwater, and it used to be deep a long time ago. Here's the bank as we know it now. When I was a kid, this bank right here used to drop down about 3 or 4 feet, and then it would go real deep real quick into the rest of the lake. They're going to remove all this dirt, all this silt. So this lake was formed by damming the Laurel Run Creek. And it wasn't so much the fact that it was a creek that it was called Laurel Run. It was totally because of these guys over here. The Pennsylvania mountain laurel, which is the state flower. And to give you an idea what time of year it is, apparently they're getting ready to do an early bloom. We were just talking about them and this. We were talking specifically about the flowers coming up, and it wasn't a one-off. They are everywhere. They're getting ready to come up. Okay, I'm currently off the beaten path and doing some mudlarking here. I can finally get back up there through there, but I'm just going to keep going along the edge here. Let's see what we can. Oh man, that was up to the ankle. Here we go. All right, it was coming along here on the rocks, and what I found is a very old glass bottle that says Snow White on it. The bottle was complete at one point. Snow White. Never heard of it. If you guys with the sun in my background again. If you guys know what Snow White is, give me a heads up. And I don't mean the Disney show. All right? Tell me what it is. Is it a beer? Soda? Generic soda? It's a glass bottle and it's heavy glass. They stopped doing heavy glass a long time ago. But let's see what else we can find. Marco! Marco! This is a Laurel Run Creek. Walking along, and some of the things that are turning up as the water goes away are nice big old hunks of coal coming up out of the banks. See what else we can find. So I got a little too muddy. My feet are getting a little too cold. I decided to get off the banks, and now I'm trapped in Mount Laurel area. Let's give you a good show of that. Mount Laurel area, and of course there's Leslie, and that's what I had to go through. All right, that's what I had to go through to get out of the actual muddy area. And it's muddy. It's so muddy. Here, I'll give you an example. Give me an example. This is what it was like. Oh. Go back to my path. And it was like, here we are, looking for the elusive mudlark. Not just any lark, but the mudlark.
I'd say that right. Pick.
What's that?
Elusive pick. They'll find you.
Yeah, I guess I should have taken that into consideration.
If you had to come down just a few more feet, there would have been a nice clear path right past here.
Yeah, wow, if I would have come down a few more feet, there would have been a nice clear path. Wow. Wish I would have thought of that. A nice clear path. Let me show you what this nice clear path is. Are you ready?
Aha, look.
Let me show you what this nice clear path is.
A little bit wet, but at least not so much low.
You ready for the nice clear path? Here we go. That's the nice clear path. I would have been knee deep, trudging through, climbing over down cedars. Yeah. Tell me again about this nice clear path you found. As we cross an actual wooden bridge, because apparently it's a nice clear path. So this is one of the 3.9 miles of trail here at Whipple State Park. This is my favorite one. Came through here one time. I'll see if I can find a picture. I brought my daughter, and at that time my daughter was new to hiking trails and going around lakes, but it was all about going on a daddy explore. So as we came through, I think we ate at McDonald's or something like that, and she got this little stamper with a smiley face. You know, you pull it out of a little ink and you could stamp with it, and she came through and was constantly stamping mountain laurel leaves with little smiley faces. And I think I have a picture of that. It's probably from about 10 years ago. If I find a picture, I will put it in here. But it was adorable because I said, honey, what are you doing? She goes, I'm making the flowers happy and giving us a way back. And I thought, yep, she's going to be an explorer. So if you ever see a smiley face on a leaf, especially in the mountain laurel, you know your way home. Let's see what else we got. This is how beautiful and gorgeous it is normally, but the water of the lake usually comes all the way up to here. I don't know if they're going to dredge all this out or keep it for wildlife purposes. You can see Laurel Run Creek over there. Let's continue on, see what else we can find. This is a nice trail. This is something you don't see me do in any of these videos, huh? Walk one of these trails. I don't do that often. We'll leave that to the other guys that do similar channels. You guys know who you are. Let you guys do these trail things. I'm looking for the older stuff, and the weird stuff, and the odd stuff, and the old stuff. Speaking of old stuff,
Hey.
No way.
Mushrooms right there.
We got shrooms? Where we got shrooms? We got shrooms. We got to take a look at shrooms. Shout out to one of my buddies out there. His name's Morrissey, and he's a mushroom dude. He and I have to get together. We'll do a video about mushrooms. Tell you what you can eat, what you can't eat. There we go. You might not know this, so I figured I'd show this one to you because this is very interesting, and I've learned this the hard way probably 4, 5, 6, 12 times since my childhood. Let's just turn the camera around. You see all this moss that's growing at the base of the trees? A lot of times when you come through here, if you stamp your feet, you'll be able to hear it's all hollow. And that's not just from the moss. It's hollow for other reasons. If it happens to be during the summertime and it happens to be warm, do not be wearing shorts or pants that don't have rubbers around the bottom and go walking across this moss. One of the things that you'll find out, especially this close to rivers and streams, is there are so many hornet and yellow jacket hives that live inside these moss basins that once you make that mistake, or if you're like me, 5, 6, 7 times you make that mistake, you'll learn that you don't go walking over their hives. That's another lesson. We're going to put that in that whole lessons episode about that and how to light a match. All right, so as we've been walking along, I keep seeing these little pink things in the ground. What I told Leslie is that they told her they're a special kind of mushroom. And they're growing in the wet areas along the road here, and this is their time of year. Mr. Morrissey can correct me if I'm wrong about that. Reality is, we keep seeing them. They look like broom bristles, and they're hot pink, and they keep sticking them at spots along the road so they know where the entry point and exit point of water tubes are for anything flowing off the mountain so it doesn't wipe out the roads. So if you ever see little broom bristles that are hot pink sticking up in the ground, now you know what they're for. The time of day changed, and although access to the basin is somewhat restricted if you read the words correctly, you're not supposed to be on particular sides of the lake and driving all around because it's not open to the public, so to speak, at least while the guys are doing their work. It makes sense. But what happens when they go home? So because they all went home, we came to the other side of the lake so that we can get some more footage. And in the process, I changed out my wet boots, my wet socks, got mud all over the vehicle, of course, and I put feety warmers in. Those things are magical. That's not an advertisement because I don't know what they're called, but if you have feety warmers that you sell and you want me to bring you onto my channel, I'd be more than happy to give you a shout out. Let me know in the comments below what kind of feety warmers you use, if you use battery powered ones, chemical ones, things along that line. Anyway, let's see what we've got on this side of the lake. All right, here we go from this side of the lake. It's one of the machines I believe they're using for dredging. I think they were doing that for channeling. I don't know if they're going to actually use that for full-on dredging. Let's see if we can't find one of the basins. All right, coming up on one of the locations here. Like I had said, they have to knock out 35 years of tree growth. But when I was a kid, remember when they had first done this? It was really neat. It was a little bit clear, but you came back here on a little tiny dirt path to where the basins are. And there were signs saying that don't play in the basins, but you had stone like this everywhere. And here we go. Here's the metal posts. used to have signs saying, keep out, danger, you're gonna die if you fall in the basin. That was 35 years ago. Now there's no signs on it, so obviously they're safe and we're not gonna die, right? But even if you fall into these basins, that's a long way down. So they created these super huge basins. There's multiple. This is one of the lower ones. Over in that direction, there's another basin on the other side of this little road. But there's even yet another basin higher up the hill. Let's go check out that one. All right, on the left-hand side, we have the basin I was just talking about. And as we crest, we have the other basin. And this is where the guys were working today. All the background sounds that you were hearing. So they're just trashing everything, throwing it down in there. This whole entire area is going to get buried under lake silt. This whole area. Now, I don't know if it's okay that they're throwing concrete down there like that, or an abandoned building that got knocked down or something. They're throwing trash in there, which is really inappropriate. Probably not supposed to be filming it. But this is where a lot of the silt's going to go. Honey? Honey?
Yeah.
Will you marry me? Huh?
Of course I will. Oh, king of your castle. Look at you.
I am the king of the forest. Okay, I can't move. It's really heavy. We'll put that back for their benefit. Don't want to destroy what somebody obviously cut it because they thought it was cool too. All right, so Leslie asked me how many basins are around the lake. According to the original plans, there were 3 basins. They were tiered basins. They were stepped. Big one, slightly smaller one, smaller one. I think they're only supposed to be filling the really big one and letting whatever drain into the other 2 as like a catchment system. Although with that, I am seeing some stuff in the distance. Let me see if I can't capture in the distance there. I'll try and zoom in on that. In the distance, it looks like they did a lot of cutting, so they might be adding another basin. I'm not exactly sure, but we'll see what happens. From what I remember and what I was told is you got the really big basin behind me here, and the lake is down at the bottom of this hill on this side. And they were going to put up a big vacuum tube that would sit up on the top and pump the silt up here, but that's not going to work now because they drained out all of the water. So I don't know how they're getting it from down there to up here. They could probably do a conveyor belt. It'll be really interesting to see. I'll have to come out a couple of times while they're doing the work. Maybe do a little update video, something like that. But let's see what else we can find. So here we are on the other side of the lake. It's really high up here. This is usually kind of an inaccessible part. There's a trail, but you don't walk on land like that. You end up all the way down there without a way to get back up. You could see some structures down along that log. They were fish structures. What else have we got? I don't know if I want to go down there and walk because we'll probably get stuck and then have to come back up this hill. That would be too much. We're on the other side of the basin. Basin's over on this side. The lake is on this side. The wind is blowing toward me from the basin where they just cut down all the pines, and I just kind of want to like set up a chair, maybe put a blanket on, just to breathe the smell of fresh cut pine. It smells so good here. I can't emphasize how wonderful it smells. If you get a chance to come out, come take a smell. All right, we're down on the point. See, Leslie's way up there. And we got this rock outcropping. It's like a little platform. This is where I spent my childhood fishing all the time. These trees didn't used to be here. But from here, I could see the entire lake in all of its beauty. Now a big mud hole. There was one other really interesting part to being on this outcropping, and I'm going to show that to you. When you went fishing here, there was a deep hole. It was the deepest hole in the whole lake. And for the first time ever, I get to see what's down in the hole, because I like going in holes. So let me climb down and I'll show you what's there. All right, here we go. Came out into the wind. Here's another view of the lake from down below. Looked prettier from above. Hey, blue trash out there. I wonder what that is. Wonder how many more cell phones are out there. Anyway, let's zap it right around here. Here's the outcropping. We are on the lake side. This is where the water would have been. The other side of the bush is where you would have to stand. But this was the deepest hole in the entire lake. And what's cool is this is where all the fish used to hide. So I'd sit directly above this, and I would have to put the lure in, bring the lure down here, and just go up and down until they would come out of this little hole right there. And he used to come, grab it, and I caught a fish, and I'd show it off. But now, it's just all done. So I hope you like this adventure. It's a lot different than the rest of the Odyssey, but it's not every day when you get to see a lake get all dredged out or drained. So I figured it would be one to add to the collection. Remember to like and subscribe below. Leave me comments. Let me know what you did or did not like about this particular video. I was trying some stuff out on some newer equipment, see how it works out. And I guess we'll see you on the next Odyssey.